What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here, for stopping on by. Today, let me pull it back up here. What we're going to listen to, we're going to listen to some, also Sprach Zarathustra. I hope I corrected that, said it correctly. This is by Brazilian musician Deodato from the album Prelude, which was released in 1973. So I was actually gifted the album here as well. So this is the first track that opens up the album. So let's just go ahead and give it a listen, give it a taste, if you will. I've never heard of Umer Deodato. That's a cool name. Umer, is that how you pronounce his name? That's a cool name. I've never heard of him besides what we're about to taste today. So let's go ahead and give it a listen. It's an instrumental. We'll talk about it after. Here we go. Space cat. A funky space cat. That's from, whatever that movie is. Space Odyssey. Yeah. I like how that's worked into this. Kind of a way to funk it up, huh? Interesting kind of mix of those styles. echoes, of course, that theme, but in a different way there. Space Cat. It's a spacey mover. Lots of great movements in here. Love how the drums got very chaotic, kind of there. Let's see if they do that again. That was actually really cool. It's like it's so fuzzy. It's like a distorted moment in time. That's good, that's good, that's good. What a fantastic job the band did in creating their own jazz piece that stands on its own. It truly does stand on its own. It has wonderful instrumentation, great movement and flow throughout the whole thing. But then also being in a sense brave enough to include the main theme from Space Odyssey, which I've never seen. I know a lot of you are going to say, go see it. I've never seen it. I don't know anything about it. Except like there's a robot that goes crazy or something like that. Anyways, but how cool of them to do that, to include the theme, but also include it in such a way that it's not, it doesn't take away from their jazz piece and what they're doing, but also it's a nice moment to open up the track, but at the same time to close it out with something very grandiose, very climactic. I think that that was a sensational choice. And the way that it opens up, of course, it creates that epic kind of sound. And speaking of sounds, it did sound like a funky space cat in the beginning, right? It did. And then contrast the beginning opening theme with how epic and grand it is. And yes, you have at the conclusion the same feeling, but the way that the band plays in those hits, didn't it sound like it was taking the calm and collected from the beginning and throwing it into chaos and disarray at the end? Like the band would jam very hard and then settle back again. That was just a really cool contrast that they were playing around with there. So, a few things here. So, Mr. Deodato, he is the pianist here, the keyboardist, okay? So he's taking lead when it comes to that. However, you have some alum in here. In the bass, or on the bass, I should say, not in the bass, Stanley Clark. On the drums, Billy Cobham. On the percussion, Airto. And a whole lot of other names that I may not recognize. But I see on the album, not on this track, but on the album, you have Ron Carter on the bass. Like, you have a star-studded album, and here a production with the track, which shows. Now, speaking of Deodato's piano playing, it dances in space here. It dances really, really brilliantly. Not cluttered, not show-offy in a flash kind of way, but it has the right amount of speed, the right amount of grace. And I just really enjoy how he dances around everything. Now, when it comes to the rhythm section of Airto and Stanley on the bass and, you know, the drumming from Cobham, I really like how they play, because especially in a lot of jazz fusion, actually, which is something I like, is that yeah, you play the beat, yeah, in a way you play a certain pocket, but there's a lot of room for, there's an S word I'm trying to think of, not subliminal. Let's go with subtle. There's a lot of room for subtle change in the movement and the flow of things. You don't just have to play lockstep into a 1-2 groove. You can play within the spaces of that 1-2 groove and change it up, but at the same time still landing on the correct hits of the rhythm of the music. And I just really enjoyed their rhythm section and how they do that. Speaking of the rhythm of the music, those sections where they bring in the theme from Space Odyssey also lend itself really well in here because of those hits. The rises, da, da, ba, ba, right? The way that the band is able to play around those hits and once again bring that into their jazz fusion technique. I think it sounds wonderful, and they just do a really great job of interpreting that. Man, my mouse is loud when I'm scrolling. Like, can you guys always hear that so loud? Like, when I'm doing that, like, has it always been that loud, or is that just how it is now? Okay, let's see. It says that this particular track also won the 1974 Grammy Award for Best Pop Instrumental Performance. I didn't know there was a pop instrumental performance. And it also went on to number 2 in the pop charts. This went to number 2 in the pop charts? Like just pop charts? Interesting. Number 3 in Canada. I almost said in the Canada. And number 7 in UK. That's pretty impressive. That's very impressive. That's cool. Anyways, that's a cool piece of music. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. You can follow me over on Twitter. Support the channel on Patreon. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you for being here. Have a wonderful one, guys. I'll see you all later. Bye.